Aaron Rodgers is the missing piece that gets Pittsburgh over its playoff hump. Is that an overreaction?
Yeah, it's an overreaction. I mean, we look, nobody's saying that Aaron necessarily guarantees, or rather, like, he's the missing piece that they can then get into the playoffs and not only get into the playoffs, but win a playoff game and deal with the cream of the crop in the AFC. But he does give them a better chance than what they've had. He does level up the position. That's why they're sitting there and they're holding out hope that he will sign with them, because he is a level up. I mean, that's what we know. But, yeah, it's an overreaction to say that they get over the playoff hump and all of a sudden become a top-notch, top-tier contender.
Marcus Spears, your Cowboys still looking for another wide receiver to pair with CeeDee Lamb. If I said they have to draft a wide receiver in the first round, is that an overreaction?
Yeah, that's an overreaction. I think at the position one, you can find guys potentially in free agency or late in the draft. We've seen receivers have a tremendous amount of success that haven't been taken in the first round or early. But also, there's positional need, and wide receiver is one of them. But I would prefer them shore up some of the positions that they lost, i.e. being Zach Martin deciding to retire on me.
A lot of needs there to fill in Dallas. One more in the NFC East, Lewis. If I said the Giants, who are picking third, would be crazy not to draft a quarterback there, is that an overreaction?
Yeah, it's an overreaction. Look, they really do need to make sure that they're getting true value for the position, for the number 3 overall pick. And if they don't believe that a quarterback represents good value at the number 3 pick, depending upon who's left on the board when it comes time for them to pick, then don't force it. Those situations always come back to bite you. You need the whole organization aligned. You don't want to force that kind of pick. That right there is a franchise-altering position in the draft. They already know it. They already know what happens when you miss on a pick that high. Okay, especially at the quarterback position. They've lived it already. John Mara needs to step in here. This needs to be a pick that he has a tremendous amount of influence over.
If they don't go quarterback in the first round, they still do have the second pick of the second round, and Mel Kiper has them in his latest mock draft. Do we have this? He had 5 quarterbacks going in the first 34 picks of his mock draft. You have to take my word for it. We don't have the graphic. Had Jalen Milroe going to the Giants at number 34 overall. Dan Orlovsky yesterday said that he thought that was a great fit for Milroe. Here's what Dan had to say.
If I could handpick one team for Jalen Milroe, it would be the New York Giants in the second round. This would be the ideal situation. If you got Jalen Milroe, you can go full Lamar Jackson rookie mode, where here comes 15 times a game. Because this young man, while he's improving as a passer, is an absolute rocket ship with the ball in his hands. This would be the perfect place for both the player and the organization.
Swagoo, if the Giants don't take Shedeur Sanders or another quarterback at 3, do you agree with the idea of taking Jalen Milroe in round 2?
Yeah, I like that idea because I like Brian Daboll, and I like what he did with Josh Allen in Buffalo. He understands this position. He can tailor his calls and what he does to the quarterback that he has. And Dan is right about the explosiveness of Jalen Milroe. But you got to get to throwing the football in the NFL. Like, that's not going to be the calling card for your quarterback, is the fact that he is explosive with his legs. We've seen progression from quarterbacks, with Lamar being one of the perfect examples of a guy that we thought was an athlete that now, and to me, has proved and been proved that he is a quarterback first. So if you think that Jalen Milroe has those intangibles, if you think he has a ceiling to improve that much as a passer in the NFL, then this is a no-brainer. The calling card for the head coach of the New York Giants is that he does a really good job with quarterbacks. He finagled Daniel Jones into being a $100 million guy and fooling the hell out of all of us, thinking that there was going to be a step forward after they paid him. So if anybody would be able to take a flyer in the second round, again, not having to pay these guys a crazy amount of money, I think that Brian Daboll would be in that situation. He would be in that vein. And you also have some veteran guys there now that he could sit behind and wouldn't have to play right away.
Interesting, though, Lewis. A couple of minutes ago, you said you thought John Mara, the owner, had to step in here with regard to the decision on quarterback in the draft. Well, why do you feel that way?
Because, look, I think, John has always, from the outside looking in, based upon, the things that he has said and the things that we have witnessed, has really kind of deferred to the people who are in the positions, in personnel positions, to make decisions, and he's kind of let them do their thing. and he's given them their blessing. We saw that with the Saquon Barkley situation. We also have seen John Mara say this when it comes to a guy like Daniel Jones. He said, we have done everything in our power to screw this kid up. That it wasn't just on the kid. It wasn't just all the shortcomings that he had. There were many things that happened in this organization that just didn't add up to him having success. Let's just take Jalen Milroe now, for instance, right? Let's just assume that they did draft Jalen Milroe, in the first round, late in the first round, that they moved up and drafted. Everyone would tell you that Jalen Milroe needs time. He needs consistency. He needs a nice, stable culture from which he can then blossom into the throwing quarterback that everyone knows he needs to be in order to really unlock all the potential that he has, a la Lamar Jackson. He doesn't need a situation where it's constant churning of coaches and offensive coordinators. And in this situation, with the Giants in particular, right? And John already knows, Mara that he's going to blow everyone out of there anyway. So then year two, this kid is into another system. And now you've really set him back because now he has two years, two systems, no consistency, no structure around him, and you're just changing things around him. Sounds like Daniel Jones to me. And so for him, I'm sitting there going, look, only he knows what success looks like, meaning John Mara, and what it would take in order for Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen to keep their job. And if he thinks it's more likely than not that I'm going to blow them out of here, you're doing the kid a disservice by taking him.
We see it all the time. That situation determines a lot about how successful these guys are in the NFL. Again, 15 days until the NFL draft, and we find all this out. Micah Parsons and Jerry Jones right now.
Nothing at all, guys. The contract will be worth $1 gazillion. He'll keep us on edge until the day before the season, or he might do it a couple hours before the first game. And Micah Parsons will be in on it as well. The more and more I look back at the Dak Prescott situation leading into this season, they both were colluding to keep us talking about it on Get Up and First Take and NFL Live until the first day of the season.
Well, we love him for that, and we hope that continues for our own sake.
Yep.
Let's talk about another edge rusher, Trey Hendrickson in Cincinnati. What's going on with what up? Excuse me, with Trey Hendrickson and the Bengals. I almost said what's going on.
It's weird, man. This is a weird situation. And obviously, sometimes you just run out of money, Graz. I mean, when I was young, growing up, sometimes we just ran out of money. And we had to eat what we didn't want to eat or do what we didn't want to do. So when you look at Trey Hendrickson and what they did with T. Higgins and obviously Jamar, he might be the odd man out at getting some big money. Cincinnati may figure it out. But the problem is you might be running low on funds. And when funds run low, some people are disgruntled and some people are happy. I'm disgruntled right now because my funds are running low because of the stock market. Trey is disgruntled because Cincinnati is being affected by the stock market.
We're going to keep it on NFL if we can. What up with Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers?
I don't know, man. It's like a game of do you like me? Yes, no, or maybe. And nobody wants to answer the question. And when you look at Aaron Rodgers and you think about how he ended last season with the New York Jets, you got to figure out if it's valuable enough for you to try to wait or you to try to figure it out. But it's a Band-Aid with the Steelers. And they may need to just leave the wound open, stitch it up, and patch it up for good by waiting, by trying to position themselves to get a quarterback of the future. I know it's slim pickings, and I know nothing is guaranteed, and I know you got a one-year vision when it comes to Aaron Rodgers. But that one-year vision is the reason why we are still here with the Pittsburgh Steelers, obviously with Kenny Pickett not working out.
Even if it's just a one-year